Bruh, how long have we been saying this? No, really, how long? People like myself, Andy Matrix, Vera Dark, and especially Eric July, that manga has been dominating here in the West for years. But when we say it, it's, well, you guys are just being biased. No! I mean, maybe a little bit, but no, still. That manga is dominating because it's just better. And now CBR, the same people who consistently criticize anime manga for the amount of fan service in anime manga, even they have to admit that manga is just better. In this article from CBR, where it says why Japanese manga is outselling American comic books in the West. Japanese manga is selling incredibly well in the West, and it seems American comics can't keep up, even on their home turf. Bruh. I'm just saying. Now listen, before I continue, I gotta say, first things first, I understand not everything about Marvel and DC is bad. I'm sure they have their redeeming qualities. However, you have to admit that Marvel and DC have been failing its readers for a long time. Whereas, like, for example, manga is so much easier to get into, right? And usually it's simple. It's point A to point B or A to Z. It's straightforward. DC Comics, Marvel Comics, and the host of them, there's a multiverse upon a multiverse. In fact, there's a multiverse within a multiverse within a multiverse. They can unalive their main heroes. Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Superman, whatever, the Hulk, Justice League, X-Men. They can unalive them all and just be like, well, it's okay. We may have done this, but we'll just create a whole new universe where they're all alive and they won't remember a thing. Bro, it's so played out to the point where, like, guys, think of something different. The multiverse thing is played out. But anyway, let's jump right into it. Before I do that, make sure you guys do me a favor. First of all, welcome back to Dante's Rant Room. I'm your host, Dante. We are back with another video. And as always, I appreciate y'all for tuning in yet again because your support gets me and this channel going. So make sure you guys do me a favor and hit the red subscribe button for more content like this. In Nerdy Geek Culture, we talk a lot about controversial topics and censorship in anime, manga, and gaming. And let's get this page to 2K subscribers. So let's see what the article from CBR has to say. So it says, for Western graphic novel and comic fans, especially in the United States, there are now two major factions competing on the market. Western comics such as Marvel and DC, and the vast world of Japanese manga. Every consumer has their own preferences, and there may be no single right answer, but manga does have some undeniable advantages over comics. Even in the West, where comics are highly mainstream and have been around for decades, manga has started to outsell the former, and there are clear reasons why. Even with action figures and the MCU around to bolster consumer interest, American comics compare poorly to manga in some key areas, from their common perception to simple price. Now it starts off here. Japanese manga offers better prices and consumer convenience. Many news sources that state Japanese manga has been selling incredibly well in the West within the last few years. And titles such as My Hero Academia, Demon Slayer, and Jujutsu Kaisen are all appearing on the bestseller list with impressive regularity. Now, I could be wrong, but I think in the top 20 for the month, or last month, of comic book sales, I believe manga has 19 of those spots and American comics has 1, which is very pitiful. As in, like, it's clear as day that even on home turf, Marvel and DC are not up to snuff. Manga is just winning non-stop, just winning, keep it in a bucket, y'all. Manga is just better. Continuing, clearly manga is more mainstream and popular than ever, and on the practical side of things, it may be because of prices and shopping venues. As some fans have argued online, it's simply more budget friendly to get into manga than American comics. especially when comparing the page counts of a product to their sticker price. American comics may seem cheap, being just a few dollars per issue, but a typical manga volume may have around 160 to 180 pages and usually costs 10 to 12 bucks, an excellent ratio for any consumer. Even if those pages are black and white as opposed to richly colored Marvel and DC comics, that sheer value is tough to beat. So if people would rather read a book that's one, right to left, and black and white, than read American comics. That says a lot. It really does. Continuing, another factor is where consumers can find comics in Japanese manga, not just how much those shoppers must pay for them. Comic books are usually sold in specialty comic stores, and such shops have a reputation for being intensely geeky places with certain types of clientele and content. Comic shops heavily cater to shoppers and pop culture fans who are deeply invested in this robust but relatively narrow industry, while Japanese manga feels more universal and not just because of the stories found within. Very, very, very true. Now, what are your thoughts about this? But this part right here is rather interesting. It says Japanese manga has a low barrier to entry for new readers. Another advantage to reading manga is very low barrier of entry. At worst, manga suffer from being read right to left, which honestly is not a really big deal. You get used to it rather quickly. Continuing, it says, which may be mildly disorienting to new fans, and manga also tends to feature stories with slow pacing compared to comics. Fortunately, for the manga industry, its narrative advantages are much bigger, starting with how linear manga is. Any manga series has one straightforward story. Like I said before, the volumes go in order of 1, 2, and 3, and beyond. This makes manga more similar to novel series that are meant to be read in just one order, while American comics are all over the place. Facts. Even if comic publishers make an effort to provide clear entry points with rebooted universes and new storylines, manga has the advantage and doesn't suffer from a confusing, decades-old web of interconnected stories and endless retcons or alternate continuities to sort through. Bruh. How long have you been saying this? The multiverse nonsense is what's really going to ruin Marvel and DC, among other things. Okay, that's just one of the main things that will ruin Marvel and DC. How many times are they gonna retcon the universe or create a multiverse to fix whatever problem? How many times will the Flash go back into the past or to the future to fix whatever is going on in the story? It's getting old. It's just getting old. It's getting played out. Now it ends up with this. Japanese manga may also be selling better than comics because of their more accessible content. American comics appeal greatly to superhero enthusiasts and fans of gritty action series like Preacher, but that's too niche compared to endless possibilities of manga, and sales reflect that. Only some pop culture fans will spend serious cash on endless Batman and X-Men comic issues, while anyone can fall in love with the more down-to-earth stories found in slice of life, romance, comedy manga series. Manga have plenty of action series too, such as the Shonen Big Three. You know, was it Naruto, Bleach, and what's the third one? I forgot the third one. Not Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z is the grandfather of anime. Naruto, Bleach, and I forgot the third one. Sorry guys. One Piece. There it is. And sending series like Vagabond and Berserk. But the medium covers all literally genres fairly evenly, so that attracts far more buyers. The divisive portfolio, along with its low barriers to entry, high visibility in bookstores, and excellent prices, makes manga the industry juggernaut it is, beating American comics at their game on their own home turf. Listen, this is from CBR, and I'm sure there are other articles that also will say the exact same thing. Like I said before, not everything about Marvel and DC is bad. I'm sure there are redeeming qualities within these big two, but it's clear as day that manga and the popularity of anime is all over the place. And let's not forget, most importantly, manga and anime are not afraid to make their characters look attractive. They're not afraid of sex appeal, not afraid of fan service, of making their characters, be a little kinky. Whereas Marvel and DC are moving away from that stuff. And come on, people love to see attractive people on their screens doing some slightly, pervy things, which is fine. But Marvel and DC rather not do that. They'd rather all their girls have the exact same goddamn haircut. That goddamn haircut. Anywho, that's all I got for this episode. What do y'all think? Anyway, looking forward to reading your comments as always, and make sure you guys do me a favor and subscribe for more videos. Looking forward to your support and reading your comments as always, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Later.